Hello everyone, this is the voice of your humble servant Lumen Chris from Lumen Chris Digital Assets Academy. In this video tutorial, I'm going to be walking you through the process that you need to follow to be able to do a swapping of your splits, from the smart blockchain where they are currently frozen into the new blockchain, which is the Ultima blockchain. Are you a holder of the VIP1 split on the smart blockchain currently, and you need to migrate from that particular blockchain to the present blockchain, which is the Ultima blockchain? Of course, both blockchains are within the same wallet application, which is a smart wallet. Now, if you have to do this migration, it could be for VIP1, it could be for LSP, that's for legacy splits. Of course, definitely not everybody is a holder of any of these splits which I just mentioned. So depending on the one which you have, if you don't actually have the VIP1 split, then this video tutorial might likely not be of any particular benefit to you. If you are not also a holder of an LSP split, then probably this tutorial is definitely not going to be very much useful to you, even though the procedure might probably be useful to you when it comes to the migration of splits from a particular pool, which you might probably be a member of that particular pool. So you might have to follow the procedure to be able to do the same migration when it comes to your turn. But in this particular tutorial, I'm going to be concentrating on the migration for VIP1 splits from the smart blockchain to the Ultima blockchain. Same applies to the migration of the legacy splits from the smart blockchain to the Ultima blockchain. Like you see in this particular wallet, see where it is indicated VIP1 with an orange background. This is to tell you that the orange background color is simply indicating to you that this is a VIP1 split, which is found on the smart blockchain. It is found on the smart blockchain section of this smart wallet. Because if you come right down this way, almost at the end of the page, you are going to see another VIP1 here. Though because of networking consistency, you really can appreciate the background of this VIP1 here. As a matter of fact, the background is blue in color. Everything that has to, every asset that belongs to the Ultima blockchain has the background which is blue in color. Very important. But now we are trying to do a migration of this VIP1 with the orange color, which is the VIP1 split found on the smart blockchain. We are trying to migrate it to the new blockchain so that it can resume its daily payment, meaning that we can continue to receive daily rewards in terms of Ultima coins, which is definitely what we get from the Ultima blockchain. Now, many people still get themselves confused. They don't know exactly how to go about this migration. So I'm going to be showing you how that is done in few steps. As a matter of fact, there are two different sections that we have to exploit. The first section has to be this wallet itself, and the second section has to be the back office of your DeFi-U account. Definitely, there is no way you can be a holder of a VIP1 without having an account under the DeFi-U section. So this is exactly how the process gets started. Unfortunately, I might not be able to do a practical demonstration here because, like you see in this VIP1 section, that's the one with the orange color. You see at the extreme right, it is showing 00. That means the VIP1s that were found there have already been migrated, to the Ultima blockchain. So there is nothing in there. So I'm just going to do a simple explanation on how, in case you still have your own VIP1s reflecting there, how you are going to be able to migrate them from this smart blockchain to the Ultima blockchain. Now, where it is written 0 at the extreme right, that's corresponding to VIP1. You find there are two sections where you have zeros. As a matter of fact, three sections. The first 0 on top, where you find just a single 0, that is normally where if you have, let's say you have VIP1, if you actually have those splits, you actually see them being indicated there. That's if they are no longer frozen. Then once they are indicated there, the dollar equivalents corresponding to the quantity of splits, VIP1 splits you have, they will be indicated directly below where you see currently written $0.00. That's because there is no VIP1 split up there. Otherwise, you should have been seeing the dollar equivalent reflecting below. Then directly under that, you find where it is written frozen. And under frozen, you find 00 corresponding to $0 there. That's because, like I said, this particular VIP1 or the quantity of VIP1s that we're standing here have already been swapped to the Ultima blockchain. So, assuming that you still have your own VIP1 currently frozen, let's assume that yours are still frozen. Meaning that where you see written frozen, you will find the quantity of VIP1 frozen there. And beside, you will see the dollar equivalent. But mind you, the dollar equivalence there doesn't mean that you have the possibility to go to any exchange and you sell off the VIP ones, and you will have that dollar equivalent, because there's no exchange on which any of these splits has been listed. There's no split yet that has been listed on any of these exchanges, so much so that we can go there and sell and we'll have that dollar equivalence. And even if there were to be an exchange existing somewhere, the dollar equivalents that we see, they are just indicative. They are only useful for the company system. So they are just, in fact, it's just information or data that the company uses or makes use of to be able to do a certain analysis, or to be able to determine the quantity of splits that are supposed to be given to you in case you are doing a migration. So they are trying to measure up the dollar equivalence of the assets that you have, but that does not mean you have the possibility to go and convert those assets and have that amount that you see beside in dollars. So they are just indicative values that are only useful for the internal system of the company. It's very important for us to understand that. All right, back to the main issue at hand. Now, like you see directly under VIP1, it is indicated 257.752. That means for every single VIP1, if you are able to have a full VIP1 split, then it is going to be evaluated at $257.752. That is the equivalence of that VIP1 split which you have. But like I said, it doesn't mean that you have the possibility to go to any market as of now and you sell your one VIP1 at the rate of 257.752. There is no exchange on which you have the possibility to sell off the VIP1. But assuming that there were to be an exchange, then that is exactly the value at which you stand the chance of, having your VIP1 split sold at. But again, you have to understand that when it comes to the exchange, the price of any digital asset on the exchange is determined by the law of demand and supply. So like I said, these ones are just indicative values that permit the system to be able to measure the quantity of certain assets that you're supposed to have, or to do an evaluation of the assets that you have. So they are just indicative values. So assuming that you might not be having up to one VIP1 in this wallet section, you see the area where you have 0 at the extreme right, the first 0 on top, which means somebody might be having just 0.001, somebody might be having 0.002, 0.5, 1, 2, 3, 10, VIP1s, and so on and so forth. So for any quantity that you have, you see the corresponding equivalence in dollars appearing below, like I already said. But now, the most important thing that I want us to understand is, assuming that your own VIP1 splits are still frozen. Now, look at the section where you have LSP, which is the legacy split. Meaning that if you still have VIP1s frozen, you will find them frozen under the section frozen, like you see the quantity for LSP here in this wallet. The quantity for LSP here in this wallet is showing 0.000022498. That's for this person who has LSP. And then you look at the dollar equivalence of this fraction. It represents 2,635.87. That is the dollar equivalence corresponding to these legacy splits that the person has. But like I said, all of these values are only indicative. It doesn't mean you can trade them on a particular exchange for now. Okay, so this person with LSP is going to follow the same procedure to be able to do the migration as the person with VIP1. When I say they're going to follow the same procedure, is to a certain extent, because all of them, they don't actually have the same procedure from the beginning to the end, to be able to do the migration. Because there are some of these splits, for you to do the migration, you have to pass through Ultima.io, that converter called Ultima.io. It can permit you to switch an asset from the smart blockchain directly to the Ultima blockchain. There are some of these other splits that will require you to pass through your DeFi U back office to purchase a package, and that package